Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. A lot happened over the weekend, so let's jump right into it. Seasoned Hollywood actor Peter Fonda recently faced controversy when he tweeted some pretty vile and inappropriate things about President Trump's kid, Barron. Some of it's really sick and dark too, so be warned. Not safe for work warning ahead. And you know it's bad since Fonda has since deleted his tweets and apologized. But fortunately, our boy James Woods has a proper repost of one of the worst threats. It reads as follows: "We should rip Barron Trump from his mother's arms and put him in a cage with pedophiles and see if mother's will stand up against the giant asshole she married to. Period. 90 million people in the streets on the same weekend in the country. Fuck." In all capital letters with double words and errors everywhere. Sounds like this Peter guy is really deranged right now. Fonda sounds emotional, dramatic, and unhinged if you ask me. So it's no wonder when Melania saw this, Barron's mother, she called the Secret Service right away. Hell, I would too. This is pretty psychotic and fucked up to the max. Who thinks of shit like this anyway? Really? Throwing a kid into a cage with pedos is some dark shit, man. God damn. Get a grip, Peter. Now, there's a lot of angles to process here, so let's start with the simplest one. Let's give Peter Fonda the biggest benefit of the doubt we can give him. So, if we're being nice, we could say this is some sort of twisted joke, or he was being hyperbolic and dramatic to make a point. He is also an actor, of course, and he's also really fucking old too. But even so, even being as forgiving as we can to the guy, this tweet, this statement about terrorizing the president's kid, this is fucked up no matter how you put it. It's not a good joke, and it's a horrible thing to suggest, let alone stay on a public Twitter account with thousands of followers. Moving forward, this goes on to reflect on Hollywood, entertainment, and all the rich fat cats in Tinseltown who have not only gotten highly triggered by Trump, they've also gotten extremely brazen and unhinged in public. So this of course is another case of Trump derangement syndrome, and this time we're seeing someone with a high profile and a large platform, and well, Peter Fonda is fucking losing it, bro. But the thing is, Pete's not really gonna get any punishment for this, because another thing at play with Hollywood here is the stark liberal hypocrisy. I'm sure you all remember when Roseanne was fired a few weeks ago for something similar. She put out a supposedly racist tweet and, well, ABC fired her right away. And now, since then, ABC is also bringing back her show without her now, calling it simply The Conners. It'll be shit, I'm sure, but the point here is Roseanne made one tweet that referenced an Obama administration worker who looks like a Planet of the Apes character, and she was fired right away the next day. But now we got Peter Fonda saying much worse, talking about ripping Barron Trump from his mother's hands and throwing him into a cage with pedophiles. And almost nothing is happening to the guy. He's even got a movie coming out this week, and Sony has already confirmed they're gonna go through with the release. Man, at least when Kevin Spacey's scandal broke last year, when that happened, they canceled his projects and even replaced him in one movie. But now we got Peter Fonda and he's getting away with his horrible tweets scot-free. You'd think Twitter might punish Fonda too, you know? I'm not sure what their terms are exactly, but I would hope making gross suggestions like this would be against the rules. I'm sure if a conservative said something like this, if they said they wanted to do something like this to Obama's daughters, that person will be banned from every site ever. Hell, they might even get thrown in jail. This also reminds me of Milo Yiannopoulos and him getting kicked off of Twitter a few years ago for making fun of the Ghostbusters 2016 movie. But now in the present, Peter Fonda is saying much worse. He's talking about kids getting butt raped in cages on Twitter and totally getting away with it. Wow, this doesn't sound fair or balanced to me at all. But we all know Twitter and its leader @Jack are stark liberal assholes. And this isn't even the worst of it. Peter Fonda has a slew of other equally offensive and vile public comments in his history. Benny on Twitter has a tweet that has a nice recap of it. It reads, "Actor Peter Fonda has since deleted his tweets calling for the kidnapping and rape of the president's 11-year-old son, Sarah Sanders' children to be kidnapped, DHS Secretary Nielsen to be caged naked and raped in public while being filmed. Here they are forever." And then let's turn to the attached pictures. The first two showing other tweets from Fonda. The first one says, "Sarah Sanders is a lying gash too, and gash is much worse than cunt. Maybe we should take her children away and deport her to Arkansas, and giving her children to Stephen Gobbles Miller for safekeeping." Jesus Christ, Pete, that's pretty dark. What is it with Democrats and their weird creepy fascination with children? One day Fonda's threatening to take away Trump's kids, and now it's Sarah Sanders. Then the next day Democrats are pretending to care about kids, pretending to care about them getting taken away from their parents at our southern border in our legal immigration crisis. Any liberals who are pushing that bullshit child separation narrative, they better be extra offended by this Fonda tweet, which is suggesting they do the same thing and worse to the president and his co-workers and their kids. And you know what? I guess this is another example of lefties exploiting children when you think about it. First, they made ads complaining about Trump's harsh language in the 2016 election, and they juxtaposed Trump's lines with kids watching on TV, thus using the kids to try and sway people.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
Oh my god, I love this! And next, back in 2018, we had the big gun debate earlier this year, which saw the mainstream left-wing media parading around kids to try and persuade us to change the laws and take our guns away. And now they're using children once again. This time, the children of criminals that are trying to cross the border. And they're using the kids to emotionally manipulate us in order to try and get us to forgive their parents for committing crimes. And then now, in these tweets, for some unforsaken reason, lastly, we got Peter Fonda using kids to try and scare and intimidate his political opponents. It's all left-wingers know anymore, I guess. And it's just simply plain wrong to do. Kids should be left alone, especially young ones that are 11 years old like Barron Trump, who's never really said anything publicly ever. He's an innocent. Leave the kid alone. Fonda's next tweet is about the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Nielsen. It reads, Kristen Nielsen is a lying gash that should be put in a cage and poked by passerby. The gash should be pilloried in Lafayette Square naked and whipped by passersby while being filmed for posterity. Again, that's some weird, messed up imagery. Totally uncalled for, too. This guy has a sick mind, clearly. And isn't gash a pretty sexist thing to call women? I mean, Peter himself even said that gash is worse than cunt when he was calling Sarah Sanders one before. And I thought cunt was the worst thing you could call a woman. Apparently gash is worse to him, and he's using it repeatedly. He's using this same hyper-sexist insult at Secretary Nielsen now. And he's fucking getting away with it, too. Simply pathetic. And now, before we go, I want to take a look at a video about this topic, because I'm happy to say for once, I'm not the only one seeing these double standards here. Another website, Russia Today, they also have a video detailing the terrible, hypocritical nature of the American liberals here. Their video is called Liberal Hypocrisy, Double Standards Over Treatment of Pro and Anti-Trump Celebrities. Check this shit out.
Questions are being raised in the US over the treatment of celebrities who've made highly controversial public statements. On Tuesday, American actor Peter Fonda called for an act of extreme violence to be committed against President Trump's son, but didn't face any real criticism over his remarks. While, for instance, talk show host Rosanna Barr recently lost her job over a racist tweet.
Supposedly racist. I say it was just a bad joke maybe, but that's besides the point here. For the most part, I'm on board with this story and the angle Russia Today is giving it. And I like this hot posh reporter lady too, I will admit. But what's most interesting is to see this foreign news outlet having a similar take on this American situation. They can see the hypocrisy and the bullshit the liberals are pushing too, which is kind of nice.
Another case of liberal hypocrisy, two very different cases with two very different outcomes. First, we have legendary actor Peter Fonda, a staunch liberal who came under fire for a series of unhinged anti-Trump tweets. In one of the tweets, he said that Trump's 12-year-old son should be kidnapped and given to pedophiles.
See, it's nice to hear more people publicly condemning this. You sure as hell aren't seeing it on news channels in America. You aren't seeing them chastising Fonda for his sick comments. Maybe Fox News did a piece on it, but the entire left-wing mainstream media has remained completely mum.
Now, this tweet prompted Barron Trump's mother, First Lady Melania Trump, to report Fonda to Secret Service. Then Fonda deleted the tweet and apologized, saying, quote, I tweeted something highly inappropriate and vulgar about the president and his family in response to the devastating images I was seeing on television. Now, many conservatives called for Fonda to be sacked, but Sony Pictures, while condemning Fonda's actions, refused.
So obviously, now we could see Fonda was saying all this taking away kids stuff because of the fake child separation narrative which the left has been propagating. Basically, their angle on this new, renewed immigration crisis is this. They are using illegals' kids as a way to emotionally manipulate people into siding with the criminals. And it looks like P. Fonda has been drinking the Kool-Aid here on this fake news story. He really thought the kids in the news he saw were really being put in cages. Like this picture, which we went over last week. It's a fake. A liberal put their kid in a cage in order to make this propaganda. And since then, there's even been another staged photo going around. This time on Time magazine, they released a cover with an emotionally manipulative picture on it. And guess what? Shocker, the kid in the picture wasn't even ever separated from his parents. It's all bullshit. Left-wing, pro-immigration propaganda, which the liberals are using to try and slam Trump. And they want to get more illegals into the country, so more of them can vote Democrat in the upcoming fall elections. And now it looks like Peter Fonda fell for all that. So he thought maybe his vile comments about the president and his staff and their kids was somewhat justified. It wasn't. Either way, it wasn't actually. Even if the left-wing propaganda were true, it would still be fucked up to say what he said. But now that we know that stuff is fake, that actually makes what Peter Fonda said even worse.
So no punishment for liberal Fonda. However, when Roseanne Barr posted a racist tweet about Valerie Jarrett, an African-American Obama official, saying, quote, Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby, her TV sitcom was canceled.
Good point. I wouldn't say Roseanne's tweet was totally absolutely racist necessarily, but even so, assuming it was, it still wasn't nearly as bad as what Fonda said. Saying someone looks like a Planet of the Apes character is hardly even offensive, if you ask me, especially considering it's highly accurate, as you can see from this pic here. So the only way Roseanne's tweet is even offensive is if you go out and do your homework and find out how black people and liberals are super sensitive about anyone using the word ape. But even that fact isn't always true, because they're actually totally okay with left-wingers using the word ape. Left-wing comedians like Bill Maher and Wanda Sykes can call Trump an ape all they want, as you can see in these clips.
I couldn't believe that Donald Trump won. I couldn't believe that we elected an orangutan to run the country. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you fucking kidding me? They voted for an orangutan? This is ridiculous.
That's okay with the left-wingers, but if you even hint at or get close to calling a black person an ape, then boom, you're gonna lose your job, your life, and everything. And this isn't even mentioning the fact that the person Roseanne was talking about in her tweet, Valerie Jarrett, she doesn't even look like she's really black. They say she is, but she certainly doesn't look it. Valerie Jarrett is crypto-black, which just adds another layer of confusion onto Rosie's whole situation. And then back to Peter Fonda's comment, and well, there's no secret meanings to it at all. There's no hidden racist or hidden agendas or genders or anything. It's just plain and simple and obviously wrong. But since he's a liberal and he hates Trump, he's gonna get away with it.
Many have pointed out that liberals ignored Roseanne Barr's racism until she crossed the Obama administration, and most infamously when a university endorsed the boycott, divestment, sanctions movement. Roseanne Barr called for the killing of all non-Jews on campus, tweeting, quote, I hope all the Jews leave UC Davis and then it gets nuked.
Damn, Rosie, what are you saying now? I think this was an older tweet, which I'm unaware of or the context of, so I'm certainly not going to defend it now, but I do see the point this other hot reporter is trying to make. It wasn't until Roseanne crossed Obama by making fun of a former staff member of his. It wasn't until after she did that she was totally shit-canned and shunned by Hollywood. I personally think it has more to do with the ape comment getting misconstrued purposely, but either way, Roseanne definitely got screwed here.
This was all ignored, but once her racism was geared towards the Obama administration, that's when liberals drew a line. But even after Barr apologized for the recent tweet, it's been announced that her show will be relaunched without her. The point is, when we look at Fonda's case and Barr's case, why were the outcomes so different? Well, one is anti-Trump and the other is pro-Trump. So it looks like we're witnessing a classic example of liberal hypocrisy.
Yes, we are. And by the way, Samira here, this reporter with the glasses, she may be playing down her looks here to seem more professional, but this chick is a total hottie too. In fact, she was Miss New Jersey in 2015. Just saying. Well done. And these two hot women on Russia Today agreeing with us is another case of all the hotties on the planet being on our conservative side. And they also seem to hate liberal hypocrisy as much as us too, which is kind of great. In the end, do I really want Peter Fonda to suffer and lose his job and his money or something? No, not really. I wouldn't even care what these loser liberals said on Twitter if it weren't for them taking away our people for much less. The main problem I have here is, of course, the double standards liberals hold and the hypocrisy against conservatives and our supporters. Roseanne was in a much better position a few weeks back. She said something dumb and uncouth, sure, but she didn't deserve to be dragged through the mud everywhere for it and slammed as a racist and fired from her show. And now they're bringing her show back without her? That's a big fucking mistake. No one's gonna watch The Conners starring Sarah Gilbert. She's terrible and was only passable on Roseanne as Darlene because the rest of the cast held things up. So what should happen to Peter Fonda then? We already know his upcoming movie is still being released, and I'm actually okay with that. If things were fair here, it would get canceled, but Pete also just plays a minor role in it, and it's a small 5-theater release anyway. No biggie, but Fonda does deserve some sort of punishment. At the very least, the media could chime in and come out with like half the amount of outrage they spit at Roseanne for doing far less. I doubt we'll ever see a peep out of them though. Fonda and the liberals have won this battle for now, but their hypocrisy has been exposed for all the world to see, so it's only a matter of time before their past catches up to them. What do you guys think? Was what Peter Fonda said about Barron Trump pretty messed up? Should he have been at least banned from Twitter for it, like Milo? Or should he have lost his job like Roseanne? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.